Hey everybody, and welcome back to Life with Lolo. It is time for our weekly recap of 911. This is season 4, episode 7, and it was titled There Goes the Neighborhood. Alright y'all, if y'all are not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell. And if you end up liking this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button along with the share button. Alright, so this episode was cute, especially the Michael and Bobby's scenes. That was really cute. Let's just start it off from the beginning, of course. So it opens up with a 911 call. So this young man, he trying to read and study his Bible and stuff like that. And you know, the man talking or the pastor talking or whatever. He trying to take his notes, and then all you hear is this rocking out, all this rocking out stuff, right? So he like, oh my God. First I thought it was the neighbors, but it ended up being his mom and her band, Plague Mamas or something like that. So he like, look here. He pulled the plug to the amplifier. He like, look here, Mom. You can't be playing all loud. I'm trying to do this. You could be playing at 3 other different houses and stuff. And she's like, it's okay. Just chill out. So he like, y'all all high. Y'all all high. So then she like, yeah, you know. So then he was like, just keep it down. So he goes back in the house. He go to put his headphones on. Outside, one of the mamas like, well, we gonna smoke this joint right here. I was like, why is the joint pink? But next thing he know, they screaming and stuff. So he runs outside. He like, oh my God. They was bleeding from the eyes, the nose, and everything, child. So he calls 911. The crew, they arrived in hazmat suits. So him seeing the blood and then the hazmat suits, he done passed the heck out. So he passes out. They is high. Like, they just giggling and like, ooh, this is so nice. Like, they are really, really high, right? So Bobby uses smelling salts on this thing. He wakes up. And he started fussing at them like, y'all is really high. The mama like, narc, you over here snitching us out or whatever. And so they was like, what was you smoking? Like, what was going on? So then they found the pink joint, and him was like, Puffer's Paradise or whatever. And she was like, oh, you buy from them too? She was like, no, but I've treated a whole bunch of the people who have or whatever. So she was saying they use synthetic weed and they cut it using warfarin. So Coumadin, if you don't know, is a blood thinner. It's a real old blood thinner, but they still use it nowadays, and it's in rat poisoning or whatever. So they use it, and you can't really use that with anything. Like meds, it's got a contraindication, the side effects with like warfarin is just like the worst medication to be put somebody on, but unfortunately a lot of people are on it. But anyway, so they start getting vitamin K, all this stuff to stop the bleeding. So he was like, well, who else have you shared this weed with? She was like, oh, so-and-so across the street, Mrs. So-and-so with arthritis on the corner. They was just like, don't knock on everybody's door. Don't knock on everybody's door to see who y'all can help or whatever. So then we see Buck. He on a date. So he on a date with this girl or whatever. Child, the date was horrible. She was too serious. He in dry. Like, he was telling her about the story. Y'all remember the episode where the girl had pooped, but the toilet wouldn't flush, and so she tried to scoop it up and throw it out the window. Then she got stuck in the window. So he telling her that story, and it was funny. But she like, so humiliating, just dating, and she got to just do that to herself or whatever. Like, she did not find any humor in it. She ends up saying like she moved to LA to get away and get a new scene and stuff like that, but it looks like it's going to be the same dating atmosphere here or whatever. So he was just like, oh, okay, we'll toast to LA or dating in LA. And she was like, I don't think I'll toast to anyone's humiliation. And he was like, no, that's not what I was talking about. But yeah, so then she ordered some cake. So he was like, well, do you want us to split the cake, or do you want to get your own cake? She was like, And so then he was like, all right, well, I'll just get my own cake. So then he was like, well, that's going to be a lot of carbs working off or whatever. She was like, did you just body shame me? He was just like, oh God. I said, no, he do not need to date her ever again. And so then we see him. So him trying to study, the kids, they bickering and stuff because one of the babies on the iPad, the other one want the iPad. Karen trying to control the kids and stuff like that. And then comes knocking on the door, hen mama. So hen mama pops up. And was she in not divorce court? Was it divorce court? No, it wasn't called divorce court. What was that show at night? Was it Night Court? Y'all know, like the old heads. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It was a show that came on. I think it was called Night Court. And I think she was the bailiff on Night Court. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I know she was in one of them older shows. But if y'all know who I'm talking about, y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, she comes and him looking like, what the heck she doing here? She was like, oh, don't worry, I got a nice little Airbnb down the street or whatever like that. I'm moving from Vegas to here. Hello, neighbor, or whatever. And him looking like, hello, neighbor, like, what? So then we see Buck. He come home from his date and stuff like that. He tells Albert that the date was a nightmare. He going to delete the app and stuff. And Albert, he just paying attention to that cake. And he like, Dr. Such and Such says that, you know, take the good from the bad of a date or whatever because it's a learning experience. He was like, well, the bad thing was everything. The good thing is I don't have to see her again. So Buck go to put the trash out, child. Why the girl who he went on a date with, Veronica, she his neighbor. I was cracking up. He come back in like, we gonna have to move. So, then we see Athena. She dropping Harry off at Michael's house or whatever, because you know he lives over there now or whatever. And I think he just go to Athena's house on the weekends and stuff. So now they swapped. Before he was living with Athena and then going to Michael's on the weekend, and now they do it the different way. So anyway, she looking at the windows he done built up in the apartment or whatever. She like, oh, that's nice. The HOA approved that. Find out he the president of the HOA, so he don't gotta get no approval or nothing like that, child. He said if you can't beat him, join him. So they looking at the view, and then she sees this telescope. So he was like, oh yeah, people watching is more entertaining than TV. So then he start going down the apartments. He was like, oh, that's what would he call it? Oh, that's Miles. You know that name? No, that's just what I name him. Black people will come up with a name for somebody, child. But anyway, he like, that's Miles, because he always running all the time. So I just call him Miles. And then he goes to another lady apartment, and that's Jackie. She paints early in the morning. Is she any good? I don't think so, because she balling up some stuff or whatever. And then we go to another man apartment, and that's Shady. Why you call him Shady? Because he always got a lot of trash. He always got some trash or whatever. And he did, like, as the show was going on, this man had more trash and more trash. It's like, dang, sir, how much trash you got? It's only you in there. But whatever. So she was just like, what happened to work? Like, what's going on? He was like, well, Harry don't really need me because he done caught on to the homeschooling on a computer. David, he back to doing surgeries and stuff. And people don't really need a lot of malls and offices built and stuff like that, because you know he is an architect, an engineer, whatever. So he like, so it's kind of at a standstill. She was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And so then he was saying, so I just do this to, you know, pass the time away or whatever like that. And he made a bucket list once he found out he had the tumor, but he can't really do stuff on the bucket list because of Rona. So she just like, well, you know, hopefully it'll get better and stuff like that. So then it's a 911 call. Child, the 911 call, like, it slashed my wife's face, and then it slashed me, and then it's attacking the neighbor or whatever. So I'm thinking it's a cat or something, like a wild cat or something like that. But so the man is steady talking. And so, so the man, I'm sorry, y'all, I had got a message. So the man is steady talking about the thing. So they get there, the crew get there, whatever. Him talking to Chim about her mom, and then Buck is talking to Eddie about Veronica. So Buck is like, well, that's my hideaway spot, and that's where I'm supposed to live at and be safe at. And basically, Hen is saying the same thing. Like, the mom just popped up, and we don't really get along very well and stuff. We only get along on the phone because we got some issues and stuff like that. And so while Buck and Eddie are talking, they like the, I think it's behind us. So I'm thinking they about to, you know, turn around and get like this wild cat. Child, it's a turkey. I said, what in the world? So it was this Wild Wild West music. I said, not the old Wild Wild West music. They turned around, they put like a net on them and caught them and stuff like that. And then the man in the neighborhood, he's talking about something. I didn't think it was going to be that dangerous. I thought it was just going to be like our neighborhood pet and stuff like that. But just never let them get too close. And so Hen and Buck is saying the same thing about her. She's saying the same thing about her mom. He's saying the same thing about Veronica. I was cracking up. Then we see Michael. He peeking out the window. And Slim, like I said, he had a lot of trash. Like I think maybe he had maybe like 10 bags of trash through the whole episode. And I'm like, dang, sir, it was only him living in an apartment. So then May calls Michael, checking in on him or whatever. But he like, your mom told you to call me and stuff like that. Because she was like, well, I could come over and cook dinner for you and stuff. And he was like, no, I'm fine. Oh, is that blood? So then he hangs up the phone on May. So then May talks to Athena and was like, I think he's on to us or whatever. So then she got another plan to get him to stop looking out the window and stuff. So next we see this neighbor. He building like this big old place set. It's like a boat tree house type place set. The other neighbor, he like, you need to have that 3 feet away from my line or whatever. He was like, man, it's gonna be great. You know, like your grandkids can play with it and stuff. He was like, my grandkids is in college. Move this boat or whatever. So child, they like, what is that? It's like a helicopter or something above. So they like, what is that? The one neighbor who was building a boat, he was like, move. So he runs. He ends up knocking the other older white man down, and the man hit his face on the boat or whatever. So, child, what's falling out the sky is a dang old Humvee. I said, what in the world? So, of course, they call 911. They get there. The Humvee is on the man. It's on his leg. They like, how you doing? He was like, I'm still alive, you know. So they like, well, we gonna have to try to get this off you, but how we gonna get this off? Our air packs won't work because it's too heavy. So then Eddie was like, well, we can pull it up the way it fell with the parachute. So they get the ladder, they get the winch on the ladder, and they hem up the parachute with the Humvee and stuff like that. And they get it up long enough to drag the man out, because it was only like maybe 10 seconds, probably not even that long before they could drag the man out. And he got a fibula fracture because they was like, wiggle your toes. He couldn't even wiggle his toes or nothing like that, child. But they got him out. So good. So then he like, I can't believe that boat saved my life or whatever. So here go the neighbor. I told you it was going to be great, man. We're going to rebuild. He was like, yeah, as long as it's 3 feet from my property line. So then we see Maddie and Maddie, Buck, and Chim. They making these baskets for the neighbors, because in one of the scenes they were saying like, you gotta be friendly to your neighbors, especially since you about to have a new baby and stuff like that. So they making these baskets for the neighbors. They got like booze in there, earplugs, and some other nice little things to welcome the baby and stuff. And Maddie is basically like, look, why you over here, Buck, because you don't want to go home, because he don't want to go home to run into the neighbor. She like, you need to man up and just go home, okay? Just let her know what's going on and take your butt home, okay? It's not that bad. So then we see Athena. So she visited Hen and her family at the house. And then the mom she used to work at a casino. So she's telling stories about working at the casino and stuff. And Hen is like, well, I can't believe that you're not working there anymore. And she was like, times change, people change and stuff. And then we see Bobby at Michael's house or whatever. So pretty much Athena forced him to go over there to talk to Michael to get him out the window, basically. So back at Hen's house, they just talking. It wasn't nothing real big. Hen takes Athena into the other room so they can, get coffee and stuff. And Karen is in the kitchen with the mom. So Hen says she's enjoying her mom's company, and she was kind of surprised that she actually would enjoy it and stuff like that. And so she's like, well, you know what? Let me go check and see what's going on with this coffee. So she gets up. The mom and Karen are talking, and the mom is like, well, what's going on with Hen? You think she up to going to med school and stuff? And so Karen like, yeah, I think she gonna do good in med school and stuff. She was like, you sure she not a little too old for med school or whatever? So that really hurt Hen's feelings. So Hen went back into the room with Athena, and you could see this, she was visibly hurt on her face or whatever. So over there at Michael's house, Bobby, he like, yeah, well, Athena thought I'd come over here and get you out of your little area because she told me about your new hobby. So Michael went over there and showed them and stuff. And so Bobby looking all in the thing, and Bobby is getting into it, right? So he like, what? And him? Oh, he got a lot of trash, huh? What's going on? So they looking in the, Bobby got the binoculars. Michael got the telescope. So he was like, oh, he got a lot of women over there. The women just gave him some money. Let me see. So they talking. And so Bobby like, what Bobby say? like one of the women was fussing at him. Like I guess she was fussing with the man or whatever. So he was like, yeah, she really don't want to go. So then David, Michael's boyfriend or whatever, he comes in and he was like, what is y'all two over there doing? Yeah, because, he over there with all these women and stuff like that. It's looking kind of seedy and stuff. And then he always got a whole bunch of trash. Like, I wonder if he dumping evidence and stuff. So David was like, well, we all have a lot of trash or whatever. So won't you all go find out if he dumping it? Go look. Somehow he said something about looking a dumpster. So Bobby was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I said, why are you giving ideas? So Bobby like, all right, Michael, you stay looking at the telescope. David, we're going to need some surgical gloves, and we're going to go downstairs and go in the trash can or whatever. Child, they go outside, they running across the street, they try to look normal, like, oh, hey, how you doing? They go out into the dumpster and stuff. So then Bobby like, well, who gonna jump in? And so David like, I'm not jumping. He was like, all right, no worries, I'll jump in. So then he gets to the trash. I'm like, how y'all know which trash is the man's or whatever? So they get in there. And so David like, is this illegal? And so Bobby was like, well, yes and no. Like, so when you throw your trash out, it's people don't have the right to privacy anymore. However, this is a private dumpster. So I mean, yeah. So they going in the dumpster, they pulling it out and stuff like that. The man, he tying up another bag of trash in his apartment. So Michael was like, oh man, I gotta call him. He coming back down with some more trash. A child, Bobby's phone start ringing. He like, it fell in the dumpster. So he like, my phone, it fell in the dumpster. So they like, oh my God, David like, oh my God, y'all, what is going on? What's going on? So then he gets the phone, and so then Michael tries to call David. David phone on the counter, so he like, oh my God. So then Bobby finally gets his phone. He was like, oh my God, it was Michael. He was calling me. Maybe we should get out. So then they call him back, and Michael was like, he is on the way with more trash. So they was like, all right. So they get out. They open up a bag. It got like all this surgical equipment in there and stuff like that. So they like, he got all this surgical equipment in the bag, man. He got something illegal. He didn't open up an illegal surgery suite or something. So they get out the trash. Why are they running down the street with the bag of trash? With the bag of trash. So the neighbor came from some other way. He hears them and he sees them running away or whatever. They get back to the apartment with the evidence. They like, Michael, where you at? Child, they look at the telescope. He over in the man apartment. I said, OMG. So he over there in the man apartment. He looking around. It's blood on the counter, blood in the sink and stuff like that. So, not David, what's his name? Michael, he goes listening to the door. He opens it up. It's a lady on a surgical table, and it was like surgical tools on the counter and stuff like that. The lady is in the room on the surgical table. She got blood coming from her stomach, and she wakes up and was like, help me. David starts calling, not David, I keep saying David. Michael starts calling 911 saying like, I need help. This lady is here, blah, blah, blah. He gets knocked out by the man. He falls to the floor. Next thing he know, he wake up and Athena there, David there, and all the cops is in there too. So they like, what? He like, what happened? He was like, because David was like, you look like you got a bump on your head or something like that. Athena was like, that is nothing like what I'm going to do to the three of y'all. Like, what is you doing over here? He was like, all right, look, don't argue with me. But is the woman okay? She was like, what woman? What is you talking about? He was like, it was a woman up here. She was on the table. She was bleeding. She looked pale. She looked like she was dead. Like, what is going on? They was like, is you sure? He was like, yeah, I'm sure. She was like, all right. Well, we'll figure it out. Get home. He was like, all right, I'm going to get home. David wanted to go to the hospital saying, he had a head injury and stuff like that. But he was like, no, I need to get home to Harry or whatever. Harry, like, that was so cool. He all into all this stuff. So then Michael's sitting there. He running through his head like the other ladies that came out, they had purses and stuff. And so he like, that lady didn't have a bag. And so David like, well, most women don't have bags and stuff like that. He was like, but she didn't have a bag. All she had was a keychain or whatever. Like, where was she going? It's like she wasn't leaving the apartment or the apartment complex. So he was like, boom, because she lived there. So then they, Athena get her crew. They start banging on everybody's door, knocking on everybody's door. Athena gets to the door that, the lady lived in or whatever like that. Child, she laying on the couch bleeding out. I said, oh my God. So then they, bolus her with some fluids and stuff like that. And Athena calls them and says, we got her and whatever. I was like, oh my goodness. So then back at Hen's house, Hen is upset and she, banging mugs and stuff. And Karen like, what's going on? Talk to me. She was like, can you believe her? She always judging me and always coming down on me and stuff like that. But yet she coming here and I thought that she came here to make up for lost time with my father, but not from my father, from when I was younger. But she just came here to judge me and stuff like that. And so Karen was like, well, I think you need to talk to her, whatever. And she was like, yeah, but I felt like she came here to fix something. And then all she did was break more stuff. Like, she just an agent of chaos or whatever. And she was just like, well, how do you feel? She was like, it feels like it's another scar or whatever. Because she was visibly upset, y'all. She was crying and stuff like that. And then we see Athena. She's telling Michael how they caught the neighbor in San Diego. He used to be a doctor in Miami. He did some things that something went wrong and he lost his license. So then he moved to LA and opened up a surgical suite in his apartment, child. First, he was just doing like Botox fillers and stuff like that. But then he got greedy and started doing like surgeries. And he almost killed that lady, child. So they was like... due to some excellent detective work, we found her. So Athena like, don't be doing that no more. He was like, we ain't doing it no more. We ain't doing it no more. He said he was going to help some lady build out her garage and stuff like that. She was like, good, because I don't want to work with you ever again. I was cracking up. And then we see Hen. Karen comes home with the kids from the park, and she finds out that the mama was in the car sleeping. So Karen like, you need to go check on her or whatever like that. She was like, Mom. So Ken goes down to the car and stuff, and the mama about to lie. And so Hen like, don't lie, I already know. So she gets in the car and sits there and talks to her mom. And her mom was like, she lost everything. She lost her job, and then she got evicted. And she was embarrassed to say that, that's what happened to her. And Hen is like, Mom, we're going through a whole pandemic. Like, things are happening. You can tell me what's going on. And she was like, well, I didn't want you to judge me. And Hen was like, me judge you? That's what you do. And she was like, no, baby, I don't judge you. I'm just concerned about you and stuff. And you do so much, and everything you want, you get, you achieve it and stuff like that. And I always admired that about you. And what else she said? She said, I'm just so proud of you or whatever. And then she was just a little jealous of her because she has her life all sorted out, and she doesn't want him to be, like her or whatever like that. So she was just telling, like, Mom, you a fighter, and basically they made up. Pretty much they made up or whatever like that. And they had like the little montage at the end and stuff like that. The grandma moving in. Buck went next door to talk to Veronica. Child, he brought her a piece of cheesecake, making a piece. And guess who come out the dang on bathroom in a damn towel and talking about we out of shampoo? Albert. I said, oh Lord, Albert, how you going? Whatever. Then that was the end of the episode, y'all. Next week look good. And then it's going to be like the winter finale or whatever like that. So it's going to be off for a little bit. But I don't know when it's coming back on. But I can't wait for it to come back on. Okay, I'm already ready. Okay. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode down there in them comments. If you ended up liking this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and hit the share button. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell. All right, y'all. Until next time. Peace.